Good morning. You're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting Breakfast Show this Tuesday morning. In the next 1 hour, we'll get into of everything that's making it to the headlines. First, the top stories. Political temperature rises in Jharkhand ahead of second phase voting for Jharkhand Assembly. Political parties intensify the campaign. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold rallies in Khunti and Jamshedpur in Jharkhand. In Parliament today, Rajya Sabha likely to debate on NCT of Delhi Bill, SPG Amendment Bill and Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu merger of UTs Bill, while in Lok Sabha, the recycling of ships Bill 2019 is expected to be debated. Sign of relief for Tamil Nadu combating spells of heavy rainfall for the past few days. Met Department forecast light to moderate rains at few places over South and West Tamil Nadu. Cabinet Secretary reviews the issue of onion prices in the country. Chief Secretaries of major onion producing states apprise of the situation. States advised to make efforts to improve the supply of onions to stabilize the prices. NASA finds Chandrayaan 2 Vikram lander, tweets image showing Vikram lander impact point and associated debris field. Vice President to confer awards on the occasion of International Day of Persons with Disabilities. This day is observed to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities. In international news, China restricts US military ships and aircrafts to visit Hong Kong, also announces sanctions against several US NGOs. The move is seen as China's response to US legislation passed last week supporting pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong. In sports, India wins 16 medals, including 5 golds, 8 silver and 3 bronze medals in the 13th South Asian Games. Lionel Messi wins his sixth prestigious Ballon d'Or award after yet another scintillating season for the Argentine. USA's Megan Rapinoe wins the feminine Ballon d'Or award. Those are the top stories. We'll get to the news in detail. Now, in Jharkhand, campaigning is gaining momentum in the areas wherein assembly elections will be held for the second and the third phase. Senior leaders of all political parties are holding public meetings to woo the voters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold rallies in Khunti and Jamshedpur in Jharkhand. 20 constituencies will go to polls in the second phase on 7th of December, while polling in 17 constituencies spread over 8 districts will be held in the third phase on 12th of this month. Yesterday was the last date for withdrawal of nomination papers for the fourth phase of assembly elections to be held on 16th of December. 230 candidates are left in the fray for scrutiny of papers. Filing of nomination papers continue for the fifth and final phase. Voting for the first phase of assembly elections was held on Saturday, during which an estimated 64.44% polling was recorded. Counting of votes will be taken up together for all the phases on 23rd of December. In Rajya Sabha, 3 bills are expected to be moved for consideration and passage today. These include the Special Protection Group Amendment Bill 2019, which will be moved by Union Home Minister Amit Shah to amend the Special Protection Group Act 1988 as passed by Lok Sabha. Amit Shah will also move the Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu Merger of Union Territories Bill 2019. The third bill is the National Capital Territory of Delhi Recognition of Property Rights of Residents in Unauthorized Colonies Bill 2019. The bill, which will be moved by Union Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, aims to provide special provisions of the National Capital Territory of Delhi for recognizing the property rights of residents in unauthorized colonies. While in Lok Sabha, Union Shipping Minister will move the Recycling of Ships Bill 2019 for consideration and passage. The bill aims to provide for regulation of recycling of ships by setting certain standards and laying down the statutory mechanism for enforcement of such standards and for matters connected. Discussion also likely to take place on crop laws due to various reasons and its impact on farmers under Rule 193 in the lower house. Our correspondent Sudhakar Das is joining us to get us more on that. Sudhakar, we've given a broad outline of the business that has to be transacted in both the houses. You let us know, important day in Parliament today.
Yes, good morning, Preeti. Parliament is running smoothly, as we know. Yesterday also two important bills, one in lower house and one in upper house, passed in the Parliament. So we do expect a lot of business today also. As far as the lower house Lok Sabha is concerned, as you mentioned, the ship recycling bill is listed, and as far as this industry is concerned, India is a global leader in ship recycling industry with over 30% of its share. It's a labor intensive industry. The present regulatory framework is like a ship breaking code is applied in today's times, but it is there are no penalty provisions for violations of ship breaking code, and also there are not much of thing for environmental concerns and all those things. So this new bill related to ship recycling will address all these issues. As far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, as you mentioned, three important bills including amendment in SPG Act and unification of Dadra and Nagar Haveli with Daman and Diu. These two important bills from Ministry of Home Affairs is listed for consideration and passing. Also the bill related to regularization of unauthorized colonies in Delhi and is also listed in the House. So we do expect a lot of business also happening today. Preeti?
All right, Sudhakar, thank you so much for joining us with those details. We'll come back to you again during the day once the House begins the proceedings. In other news, in Tamil Nadu, normal to heavy rains continue to batter various parts of the state. The upper air circulation along with depression in the Arabian Sea threw normal life out of gear in more than 10 districts. Chief Minister E. Palanasamy is scheduled to visit rain-hit western districts today. As many as 27 people have died in various rain-related incidents in the state since November 29th. Vehicular traffic was paralyzed on the Kannur-Mettupalayam highway in Nilgiris district following landslides at 12 locations due to rain. One of the worst-hit areas was Marapalam, where many trees were uprooted. Meanwhile, Weather Office in Chennai has forecast light to moderate rain at few places over South and West Tamil Nadu and at isolated places over the northern parts and Puducherry for today. The Met Office said that Mettupalayam received the highest rainfall of 18 centimeters in the last 24 hours, followed by Kannur in the Nilgiris and Palaviduti in Karur with 13 centimeters each. Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba chaired a meeting of the Committee of Secretaries to review the issue of rising prices of onions across the country. In a video conference held by Chief Secretaries of 11 major onion-producing states, the Cabinet Secretary was briefed about various steps being taken by the states to tackle the rising prices of onions. The Cabinet Secretary directed states that the overall availability of onions has to be beefed up, considering the temporary shortage to stabilize the prices. The centre has already taken a decision on not allowing export of onions during the current season. Rajiv Gauba said that the union government has approved import of 11,000 metric tons of onions from 29th of November to tide over the situation. Cabinet Secretary also directed the states to utilize their food and civil supply departments to procure and distribute onions at reasonable prices. The outrage over the horrific rape and murder case was taken up in Parliament in the political corridors yesterday, but the anger spilled over streets of Delhi, Mumbai and parts of Karnataka. Meanwhile, NHRC expressed deep concern over rising incidents of sexual assault. It has pulled up the centre and the state and the union territories by issuing notices and calling for reports on the SOP to deal with such cases and use of Nirbhaya Fund. Here's a comprehensive report how the issue of speedy justice and strong rape deterrence have become a national talking point.
The horrific gang rape and murder case of Hyderabad-based veterinary doctor has left the entire nation outraged. This set of visuals that you see on your screens speaks volumes of the escalating anger across the country. The Hyderabad-based doctor's gruesome rape serves as a grim reminder of the Nirbhaya case and murder that shook the conscience of the country 7 years ago. And the spillover of this anger onto the streets of Hyderabad and Delhi was visible on Monday. There were massive protests staged in Hyderabad demanding most stringent action against the culprits. Over in Delhi, Jantar Mantar became the flashpoint with protesters wearing black bands and holding placards displaying their demands. Speedy justice and hang the rapists.
हमारे सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक रेपिस्ट के ऊपर कब होंगे? करते हैं रेप करके भाग जाते हैं, पूरा जुडिशियली सिस्टम चलता रहता है, 4-4, 5-5 साल हो जाते हैं, किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
जब मैं कॉलेज से घर आती हूँ तो मुझे पता है कैसा अनसेफ फील होता है। We want justice.
Palpable anger was also visible on the streets of Mumbai. Mumbaikars demanded speedy justice for the Hyderabad rape victim. There were raging protests in various parts of Karnataka. In Bengaluru and Kalburgi, members of the women's outfit AIMSS took to the streets and condemned the Hyderabad rape incident.
We are demanding security and safety. We want a safe society. It is not only the women, the whole public wants it. Our demand is certainty of the punishment and stringent punishment.
Meanwhile, Telangana DGP reviewed the probe thus far. He has asked the police to ensure time-bound investigation. The police has requested the Law Ministry to set up a fast-track court to try the 4 accused, seeking maximum punishment for the perpetrators of the gruesome rape. Police sought 10 days custody of the 4 people arrested in connection with the heinous crime for interrogation. Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao had earlier on Sunday announced setting up of a fast-track court for expeditious trial and assured all help to the family of the victim.
जल्दी से जल्दी सज़ा मिलना चाहिए। इसके लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट पूरा तैयार करे। सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा जो भी हम हेल्प चाहिए पूरे देने को हम तैयार है। जितना जल्दी हो सकते हैं उसका सज़ा मिलना चाहिए। यही हमारा केंद्र सरकार का हमारा दृष्टिकोण है।
The charred body of the 25-year-old woman who worked as an assistant veterinarian at a state-run hospital was found under a culvert in Shadnagar on November 28th, a day after she went missing. In this connection, 4 men aged between 20 and 24 years were arrested on the 29th of November on charges of raping and killing the woman. They had been sent to judicial custody for 14 days on Saturday earlier. In yet another horrific incident, a brutal rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl in Rajasthan's Tonk district has also surfaced. The girl reportedly had gone to school on Saturday and did not return till late. Her family members started looking for her and found the body at an isolated place in Kheldi village of Aligarh town, according to the police.
जिसने भी एक कृत कार्य किया है तो कातिलों को सख्त से सख्त जल्द से जल्द सलाखों के पीछे उसको पहुंचाया जाए। स्पेशल टीमें गठित करी गई, टास्क बांटे गए, इनपुट मिले, जनता से भी मिले और उसके बाद हमने ये इसको 24 घंटे में अरेस्ट किया है और हम अब आश्वस्त करते हैं कि जो एविडेंस हैं इसके खिलाफ वो पुख्ता फाइल पे लिए जाएंगे ताकि बहुत जल्द से जल्द इसको सख्त से सख्त सजा।
Meanwhile, the war cry to bring to justice such perpetrators of crime refuses to die across the country. With inputs from Hyderabad Bureau, DD News.
Meanwhile, both houses of parliament expressed outrage over Hyderabad gruesome gang rape and murder case and called for stringent punishment to the perpetrators. Condemning the incident, members from different political parties in Rajya Sabha demanded stringent punishment and change in the legal and police system to check the crime against women. The Lok Sabha unanimously condemned the brutal rape and killing and burning of a veterinary doctor in Telangana. The government assured the lower house that it is ready to discuss the subject and is ready to frame laws stricter to punish the perpetrators of the crime in an expeditious manner. A NASA satellite orbiting the moon has found India's Vikram lander, which crashed on the lunar surface in September. NASA has released an image taken by its lunar reconnaissance orbiter that showed the site of the spacecraft's impact and associated debris field with parts scattered over almost 24 locations spanning several kilometers. Blasting off in July, emerging Asia's giant India had hoped with its Chandrayaan-2 mission to become just the fourth country after the United States, Russia and regional rival China to make a successful moon landing and the first on the lunar South Pole. The main spacecraft, which remains in orbit around the moon, dropped the unmanned lander Vikram for a descent that would have taken 5 days, but the probe went silent just 2.1 kilometers above the surface. Days after the failed landing, the Indian Space Research Organization said that it had located the lander but had not been able to establish communication. And Vice President will confer the national awards on individuals, institutions, organizations, states and districts for their outstanding achievements and the work done towards empowerment of persons with disabilities on the occasion of International Day of Persons with Disabilities. The day aims to increase public awareness, understanding and acceptance of people with disability and celebrating their achievements and contribution. Also, the day aims at providing proper rehabilitation to the disabled persons and try to prevent the onset of disability in the future. The theme this year is promoting the participation of persons with disabilities and their leadership, taking action on the 2030 development agenda. And Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is helping in transforming Birbhum district of West Bengal in terms of skilling the youth and securing a better livelihood for their future. Here's the ground report from Birbhum district in West Bengal.
Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, government's flagship scheme, is a boon for the youth. With the aim to develop India further, Kaushal Vikas Kendra have been set up in every district of the country under this scheme. Over 2,000 youth have got training at the Kaushal Vikas Yojana in Birbhum district of West Bengal in skills like sewing, retail business, nursing, computer technology, etc. This training is making them confident and financially independent. And benefiting from this scheme, the students shared their experiences.
I am getting trained at this PM Kaushal Vikas Kendra. Free courses are being offered to us. Our teachers are really good and I'm happy with the training imparted to us. It will help me stand on my own feet. I'm really fortunate to have got trained here.
प्रधानमंत्री कौशल केंद्र के बारे में मैं मार्केट से सुना और यहाँ पे आकर के एडमिशन लिया। यहाँ पे कोई पैसे लिए नहीं जाते, ये फ्री कोर्स है।
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी साहाଯ୍य Thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we are getting training here. I'm getting trained in sewing. It will help me in helping my family by being skilled and earn in the future.
The aim of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is to enable youth to take up industry-relevant skill training to ensure a better livelihood for them to sustain their families. Kaushal Vikas Kendra in Birbhum has trained 1,250 people till now and has helped them become self-dependent. Bureau Report, DD News.
And Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana was launched with the aim to provide good all-weather road connectivity to unconnected villages to help in poverty reduction, as this in turn connected the rural parts of the country to the mainstream and to give them access to development which is taking place in the other parts of the country. Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana is changing the lives of people in Bundi district of Rajasthan. Let's have a look.
Once these residents of Bundi, Rajasthan had a tough time due to bad roads which had made their life miserable. Commuting was a difficult task for them and were left with no choice. But today times have changed. Thanks to Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, the district has now been connected to other villages like Raithal, Ajeta, Piplia and Manditya. lives of the residents are much easier and convenient.
प्रधानमंत्री ग्रामीण सड़क योजना के अंतर्गत इसका निर्माण हुआ है। पहले क्या होता था, पहले हम ये जो खटखट मार्ग होते हुए जाते थे, क्योंकि यही पक्का रास्ता था, तो इधर से जाते थे। कोई डिलीवरी मामला फंस जाता तो भी हम इमरजेंसी के लिए इधर होके जाते हैं, और ये बहुत ही लंबा टूर पड़ता है।
जो बूंदी से रायता होती हुई अजयता रोड आ रहा है ना, ये पहले बहुत खराब था, कच्ची गडार थी तो कीचड़ होता था। अब ये पक्की बनने में हमारे आने जाने में सुविधा हो गई। मतलब
पहले इसमें धूल मिट्टी बहुत समस्या थी, अब हर किसी को आने जाने में किसी प्रकार की कोई समस्या नहीं है। वाहनों को अब कम दिक्कत आते हैं, पहले ज़्यादा दिक्कत थी, अब रोड भी ठीक है।
The villages are now witnessing change. Development is taking place. So far, 5 roads have been approved in Bundi district. Under this, more than 24 kilometers of roads have been constructed. Bureau Report, DD News.
In international news, China has suspended visits by US Navy ships and aircrafts to Hong Kong after Washington passed a legislation last week backing the pro-democracy protesters. Beijing also unveiled sanctions against a number of US human rights groups. It comes after President Donald Trump signed the Human Rights and Democracy Act into law. The act orders an annual review to check if Hong Kong has enough autonomy to justify special trading status with the US. China's foreign ministry spokeswoman said that the legislation passed by Washington seriously interfered in Hong Kong's internal affairs. China further urged the United States to correct its mistakes and stop any words and deeds that interfere in Hong Kong and China's internal affairs. It also warned of further necessary actions depending on how matters develop. And US President Donald Trump has landed at London's Stansted Airport on Monday for a meeting of the defense alliance NATO. Queen Elizabeth will host the NATO leaders at Buckingham Palace. The summit, marking the 70th anniversary of NATO, starts in Watford on Wednesday. President Trump is due to have separate talks with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, French President Emmanuel Macron and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. And he will also attend a working lunch with representatives from Estonia, Greece, Latvia, Poland, Romania, Lithuania, Bulgaria and the UK. The US President is also set to meet Prime Minister Boris Johnson during the trip. White House statement said that both the leaders are looking forward to it. And the death toll from a gunfight by suspected cartel gunmen in a northern Mexican town has risen to 21. There is more pressure on Mexico's president to curb gang violence after the United States vowed to label the gangs as terrorists. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has ruled out any intervention from abroad while doubling down on his strategy of trying to contain the cartels. The government of the northern state of Coahuila said that local security forces killed 14 gunmen over the weekend after a major gunfight broke out in the small town of Villa Union near the Texas border. Police and civilians were also killed. Trump's remarks have stirred concerns in Mexico that Washington could try to take unilateral action to crush the drug cartels. U.S. Attorney General William Barr is due to visit the country next week to discuss cooperation on security. A blizzard-like blast from a storm that has been raging across the United States since before Thanksgiving slammed the Northeast on Monday, snarling travel ahead of the evening rush hour. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has declared a state of emergency and deployed 300 members of the National Guard. Airline problems had more than doubled by midday. More than 4,000 U.S. flights have been cancelled. The storm that rolled across the entire country drenched some areas with rain, blanketing others with snow and blasting still others with winds. 3 tornadoes were reported of Phoenix. In France, at least 6 people have been killed in the second round of floods that hit the southern town of Mantes-la-Nepole, leaving its streets submerged by water and mud. 3 emergency workers were killed overnight when their helicopter crashed during a rescue mission, while 3 people were swept to their deaths by floodwaters. The helicopter lost radio and radar contact while on a rescue and reconnaissance flight in the Var region on Sunday night. Investigators are trying to determine the circumstances of the crash. President Emmanuel Macron, in a statement, said that the whole country supported the rescuers' families and colleagues. So far, 12 people have been killed in the last 10 days in southeastern France, which has been battered by 2 successive late autumn storms, bringing torrential rain, heavy flooding and high winds. And spacewalking astronauts attached new pumps to a cosmic ray detector outside the International Space Station on Monday in a bid to extend its scientific life. It was the third spacewalk in nearly 3 weeks for Italy's Luca Permetano and NASA's Andrew Morgan, and it marked the culmination of years of work to repair the $2 billion alpha magnetic spectrometer. The spectrometer has been there hunting for an antimatter and dark matter for 8.5 years, longer than anticipated. Without 4 new pumps for cooling, the device would be crippled and ultimately would be rendered useless. Once the new pumps are fully installed, the spectrometer should last the entire life of the space station. NASA compares this series of 4 spacewalks, the most complex since the Hubble Space Telescope missions, to heart bypass surgery because they are designed to bypass the old, degraded pumps. And back home, let's get to updates from the world of business. While speaking in Lok Sabha, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that there is an urgent need to take additional fiscal measurement to attract investment, stimulate growth and also to create job opportunities. She also talked about corporate tax reduction, just like our neighborhood countries.
Felt that there's an urgent need to take additional fiscal measures so as to attract investment, stimulate growth, and also to create job opportunities. It was also noticed that many countries, particularly in our neighborhood and also in the Southeast Asian region, had reduced their corporate tax, and as a result of which they were able to attract a lot of investment and create job opportunities.
Supreme Court has asked Enforcement Directorate to complete the probe in JP Morgan's involvement in 3 months in Amrapali. Banks have also been directed to reply on how buyers' loans will be released. The directions have also been given to home buyers to deposit outstanding installments by January 31st. NBCC will begin work on 8 projects and the end delivery will start 9 months after the commencement. The Apex Court had asked NBCC to complete the projects of Zodiac, Sapphire 1, 2, Silicon City 1, 2, Princely Estate, Centurion Park, Low Rise and O2 Valley at the earliest. Now, the centre is also asked to explain modalities of the stress fund on December 13th on the next date of hearing. And let's get to updates from the world of sports now. Lionel Messi clinched his 6th Ballon d'Or award yesterday after yet another scintillating season for the Argentine. The 32-year-old saw off competition from the likes of Juventus forward Cristiano Ronaldo and Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk to win the prestigious accolade, which is voted for by the journalists. Messi won the award for the first time in 2009, but he had not won it since 2015. The Barcelona forward now has won more titles than arch-rival Ronaldo. Many had tipped Van to become the first defender in 13 years to win the coveted title, following the footsteps of 2006 winner Fabio Cannavaro. The Dutchman had already been crowned UEFA Player of the Year after winning the Champions League with Liverpool last season. While Megan Rapinoe won the Ballon d'Or as soccer's Women Player of the Year after leading the United States to the World Cup title in July. Rapinoe scored 6 goals in the tournament, scoring the Golden Boot as the top scorer and the Golden Ball as the top player. And India won 14 medals, including 3 golds, 8 silvers and 3 bronze medals on the first day of the 13th South Asian Games. Adarsha MN Sinimol gave India the first gold medal by winning the men's individual triathlon event at Pokhara in Nepal today. Sinimol compatriot Bishwajit Srikom took the silver in a 1-2 finish. Thodam Sarojini Devi and Mohan Pragna added a silver and a bronze in the women's individual event. In Taekwondo, India clinched 2 golds, 6 silvers and 2 bronze medals. At the conclusion of the day, first host Nepal were on the top, winning 15 golds, 3 silvers and 6 bronze medals, and India remained at number 2, while Sri Lanka was the third with 3 golds, 7 silvers and 14 bronze medals. An Indian men's and women's badminton team expectedly claimed gold medals after beating Sri Lanka in the respective finals at the 13th South Asian Games on Monday. The men's team, led by Kidambi Srikanth, defeated Sri Lanka 3-1 in the finals, while the women's side blanked the same opponents 3-0 in the summit clash to make it a double bonanza for India. With this, India's medal tally stands at 16 medals, including 5 golds. The individual events will begin on Tuesday. And with the 2019 Formula One season wrapping up in Abu Dhabi, it is time to pick out the high flyers and the no-hopers from this year. Arguably the sport's best season in the V6 hybrid era, the picture at the top remains unchanged, with Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes dominating again take a double F1 world title triumph, while teammate Valtteri Bottas capped off the perfect campaign for the German manufacturer in the second place in the drivers' standings.
The 2019 Formula One season has its share of highs and lows. Mercedes dominated the show with their twin pair of drivers Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas winning the first 9 races of the season. Lewis called the shots with 7, while teammate Bottas bagged 2 champagne bottles. But it wasn't all one-way traffic, as both Ferrari and Red Bull starred on multiple occasions across this year. Max Verstappen produced a masterful charge to victory at the Austrian Grand Prix. He came back yet again to win the German and the Brazilian GP. This was Red Bull's twin triumph with Honda as their partner. Charles Leclerc became F1's latest maiden winner as he triumphed at an emotional Belgian Grand Prix. Ferrari managed to make it a hat-trick of wins, with Charles winning 2, while Sebastian Vettel staking claim to the Singapore GP. Lewis Hamilton finished the season with 11 wins, while teammate Bottas bagged 4 champagne bottles to make it a year to remember for the Silver Arrow team. Max Verstappen came third with 3 top finishes on the podium. Charles Leclerc had 2 memorable ends to cherish, while Vettel made it first in 1 race of the season. There were even a handful of surprise podium appearances which came at the craziest races of the year, Germany and Brazil, with Daniil Kvyat securing Toro Rosso's first rostrum in a decade at Hockenheim before Pierre Gasly repeated the feat at Interlagos. McLaren also ended its F1 podium drought, albeit with a post-race penalty for Hamilton in Brazil, which put Carlos Sainz in 3rd position, having started from the back of the grid. The 2019 championship also saw the running of the 1000 World Championship race at the Chinese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton successfully defended the World Drivers' Championship for the 2nd year running, winning his 6th championship title. Mercedes successfully defended the World Constructors' Championship, securing the title for the 6th consecutive year, tying Ferrari's record from 1999 to 2004. At the end of the scale, it became a nightmare season for Williams, with just 1 point scored across 21 races, while Haas were given little to shout about by reaching the top 10 on just 7 occasions all year between Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean. Sports 360, DD India.
Time now to get you what all has been published in the papers here in Delhi. The first paper we picked this morning is the Hindustan Times. Now, the Hindustan Times jacket page carries a very grim story. It talks of how COP25 to COP25 has started, and it quotes UN chief. He says, "We've sleepwalked beyond the point of no return. Must choose between hope and climate surrender." And he has summarized the situation of emergency. It says the talks are focused. Now, the talks, that is COP25, are focused on carbon emission rules and setting up a fund to help countries reeling from climate crisis. The mission targets are by a huge margin. That is from 2 degrees centigrade. We are aiming at 1.5 degrees centigrade. And there is no room for error as put by the UN chief. Following 5 hottest ever record years, average temperatures have already increased by 1 degree Celsius, leaving little room for more ambitious target. I'll quote the words of Antonio Guterres. He's the UN Secretary General, and he says, "One is the path to surrender, where we have sleepwalked past the point of no return, jeopardizing the health and safety of everyone on this planet." This is the story put forth by Hindustan Times. The next story we pick is the Times of India's report, which says all India NRC by 2024. All illegals will be expelled before the polls, says Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh. With that, the next paper we pick is the Times of India again. The inner pages of the Times of India talks of how the government begins drive to teach people fundamental duties. The government wants to engage students from law schools to make PowerPoint presentations to schools in their areas, educating children about their fundamental duties. This has been put forth by the Times of India. Below this, the next story we pick is from the Hindu. The bottom anchor story of the Hindu carries an interesting article. It says, strange catch for Puducherry fishermen. The casing of a strap-on motor of PSLV gets caught in fishing nets and creates a sensation on shore. It carries a picture of the casing, and it says the part of the satellite launch vehicle got caught in the nets of the fishermen in Puducherry, and the fishermen there wondered whether it was a whale or not, but then it eventually turned out to be a casing strap-on motor of the PSLV. With that, I close this press review on this very interesting picture of the day put forth by almost all the papers, but I'll pick this picture from the Hindustan Times that says Indian Navy's first woman pilot takes wing. Breaking barriers is what the paper summarizes this. Lieutenant Shivangi is at the Kochi Naval Base, and it carries a picture of her, and she carved out a place for herself in naval aviation history by becoming the first woman pilot in Indian Navy. All right, that's it in this edition of the Press Review. Up next, we'll get you the events which made this day special in history.
On the 3rd of December 1889, Khudiram Bose, one of the youngest revolutionaries of the Indian independence movement, was born in Midnapur district of West Bengal. On this day in 1895, Anna Freud, the founder of child psychoanalysis and one of its foremost practitioners, was born in Vienna. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1971 started on the 3rd of December in the year 1971 and lasted for 13 days, after which Pakistan surrendered to India and Bangladesh. On the same day in 1979, the famous hockey player Major Dhyan Chand passed away in Delhi. On the 3rd of December 1984, the citizens of Bhopal in India were poisoned by 40 tons of toxic gas from a pesticide plant owned by the American multinational Union Carbide. Over the following weeks, more than 5,000 people died and hundreds of thousands suffered from effects of exposure and contamination of land and water.
Up next, we take a look at the events which are listed for later part of the day today.
King Carl XVI Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of the Kingdom of Sweden, who are on a visit to India, will attend a program on tackling emissions and air pollution at the Habitat Center in New Delhi. Air Forces of United States and India to participate in a 12-day joint exercise CORP India 2019 at 2 Air Force stations at the Air Force Station Kalaikunda and Air Force Station Arjan Singh, Panaghar in West Bengal. The death anniversary of the legendary hockey player of India, Major Dhyan Chand, scheduled to be observed. He was known for his extraordinary goal-scoring feats, in addition to earning 3 Olympic gold medals in 1928, 1932, 1936, during an era where India dominated field hockey.
And as we told you, International Day for Persons with Disabilities is being observed today. Rehabilitation and also habilitation are the processes intended to enable Divyangjans to reach and maintain optimal physical, sensory, intellectual, psychological and also social functions. Rehabilitation encompasses a wide range of activities including rehabilitative medical care, physical, psychological, speech and occupational therapy and also support services. Take a look at this report.
Physical medicine and rehabilitation is effective in treating a wide variety of medical conditions and management of physical and cognitive impairment.
Chronic diseases with long-term consequences, for example, diabetes mellitus, high blood pressure, hypertension resulting in cardiac disorders, or those with stroke in which they have paralysis, those with spinal cord injury resulting in lower limb loss of function or upper limb loss of function, those with neurological disorders, those born with congenital deformities, cerebral palsy.
Starting the intervention at the early stage and continuing till the later stages of the disease proves beneficial and results better outcome.
There is physiotherapy services, there are occupational therapy services which provide therapeutic methods for developing the function and retraining and motor relearning and sensory integration and other such options which help increase the neurological control. In addition to that, there is prosthetics and orthotic services. In prosthetics, we try to provide artificial hands and legs to those who have lost their limbs in the disease process. By orthotics, we provide aids and appliances. And additionally, we have the services of vocational counselors and vocational trainers who assess the person's ability to work and perform and retrain the person within his abilities. Psychological counselors are also part of the team who do the assessment of the psychological condition of the person. The medical team, which forms the apex of this whole exercise.
Rehabilitation helps to enhance and restore functional ability, maximize independence to perform activities and improves quality of life for the person. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
Let's get to the Good News India report, a report we get for you every morning that will bring a smile. We know that it takes a lot of will and hard work to transform barren land into a fertile ecosystem. Well, People Baba, who plants trees, has made one such area in Noida his Karma Bhumi. His Give Me Tree Foundation is transforming the place. Let's see how.
People Baba and his Give Me Tree Foundation have planted over 1,000 trees in Delhi NCR. Trees like peepal, banyan, neem and shisha now occupy the once barren land. Noida used to be barren land at one time. The Hindon River that flowed here at one time is now dried up. Rapid urbanization has also led to pollution, so much so that breathing has become difficult. However, People Baba and his volunteers have made it their Karma Bhumi. They are working to increase the fertility of the soil. The saplings were taken care of and now a small forest has appeared.
शहरी जगहों पे जंगल लगाने के ये एक हमारे सर्वाइवल की कहानी है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से हम शहरों की डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं तो जो हमारे मास्टर प्लान बनते हैं उसमें ग्रीन एरियाज़ पेपर पे तो होते हैं लेकिन वाकई वहाँ पर ग्रीन एरिया नहीं हो पाता.
The trees are home to the birds and other biodiversity, including butterflies and moths. There is also a small pond nearby which attracts a few migratory birds. Recently, Siberian cranes were spotted here. The foundation is taking care of these trees. A nursery and a unit that manufactures compost have also been built.
इसका रास्ता यही है कि अर्बन ग्रीनिंग बढ़ाना. जितनी आपकी ट्री कैनोपी होगी, आप अपने दिल्ली शहर को 1/3 हिस्सा, वैसे तो आइडियल 50% होता है, लेकिन अगर आप कम से कम 33%, जो कि ये तो गवर्नमेंट ऑर्डर है, गवर्नमेंट ने खुद कहा है कि 33% urban space should be under tree cover.
People Baba believes that most people do not have the opportunity to help the environment. He shows that even the smallest step one takes can protect the environment. Recently, a UNESCO team also visited the site. Bureau Report, DD News.
And Mission Indradhanush 2 campaign began yesterday to speed up the vaccination campaign. The target is to ensure that no child is left out of the vaccination net. This campaign is being carried out in 272 districts of the 27 states and union territories. The intensive mission Rainbow 2 will be run in 4 phases. The first phase will be run from December 2nd, 2019 to the second phase from 6 January next year. The third phase will be from 3rd February next year and the fourth will be from 2nd March. Under the campaign, the government will reach to the doorsteps of the children. In Arunachal Pradesh, Indigenous Faith Day was celebrated across the state. The day marks the birth anniversary of Talom Rukbu Golgi Bote, the founder of Donil Poloism. It also celebrated the honor and promotes all indigenous faiths in Arunachal Pradesh. To mark the occasion, the foundation stone of an iconic Donei Polo Kumkho, or the Common Prayer Hall, was laid in Pasighat. Chief Ministers of Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim were present on the occasion. Many prominent personalities and spiritual leaders also graced the occasion. The prayer hall will be constructed at Pasighat to preserve, protect and revive the dying indigenous faith and belief of the Tani tribe. Chief Minister Pema Khandu in his address said that protection and promotion of the indigenous faith and tribal tradition is the need of the hour to keep ethnic identity of the local tribes.
हम लोग ने शुरुआत किया है खास करके अपना आबोतानी के फेथ को बचाने के लिए, आबोतानी का कल्चर और आबोतानी का परंपरा को बचाने के लिए। हमें उम्मीद है कि आने वाला दिनों में इस कुंभको के माध्यम से खास करके जो हमारा यंगर जनरेशन है, जो आज के दिन में जो स्कूल में पढ़ाई करते हैं या कॉलेजेस में जो पढ़ाई करते हैं, इस कुंभको के माध्यम से एक उनका अपना आबोतानी के बारे में बहुत अच्छा उन लोगों को लर्निंग मिलेगा।
निसर्ग की पूजा होती है, प्रकृति की पूजा होती है, सूर्य और चंद्र की पूजा होती है और सूर्य और चंद्र की पूजा भारत में उड़ीसा में होती है, गुजरात में होती है, महाराष्ट्र में होती है। तो ये भारतीय एकता है और इसलिए भूमि पूजन और इस तरीके का प्रार्थना का मंदिर बनाना ये भी पूरी तरीके से स्वदेशी है।
तलम रुकबो डायंग का ये जन्मभूमि है, जन्म स्थान है, पवित्र स्थान है। तो उन पवित्र स्थान को और उनके मेमोरी को मैं स्मरण करते हुए, नमस्कार करते हुए, अभिनंदन और अभिवादन करते हुए आपके सामने आज के हमारे सामने मंदिर बन रहा है। दोनी पोलो भगवान की पूजा पद्धति शुरू करने के लिए हम शुरू कर रहे हैं। इसको बहुत अच्छे सक्सेस मिले, आगे बढ़ते जाएं।
And up next we get to weather across the country. And time now to end the breakfast show, but before we go, we leave you with beautiful glimpses of Christmas decoration at the White House. Take a look. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.